He was rejected, dismissed, and humiliated. Bernard Garrett walked out of the bank that day with nothing but a burning determination to prove them wrong. They saw only the color of his skin, not the brilliance of his mind or the power of his dreams. But Bernard wasn't just a man with ambition. He was a man with a plan. Years later, in a jaw-dropping twist of fate, Bernard returned to that very bank, not as a customer begging for a chance, but as its owner, the boss of those who once looked down on him. Welcome to Movie Mix Recap. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button. The movie begins. In 1954, Bernard Garrett was a man who refused to accept the limits society placed on him. Born into a world where racism dictated every aspect of life, Bernard learned early on that success for a black man required not only intelligence and ambition, but also a willingness to challenge the status quo. Growing up in a segregated America, he witnessed the struggles of black families, many of whom were confined to poor neighborhoods with little hope of advancement. But Bernard saw something others didn't: the untapped potential of real estate as a tool to empower communities and create generational wealth. From a young age, Bernard displayed an uncanny knack for numbers and an analytical mind that set him apart. He would spend hours studying the mechanics of property ownership, rental markets, and real estate investment. He believed that owning property was the key to freedom, and that by breaking into this exclusive world, he could help transform the lives of countless black families. But his dreams soon collided with the harsh reality of systemic racism. When Bernard tried to enter the real estate market, he was met with hostility at every turn. Realtors refused to sell to him, banks rejected his loan applications, and potential business partners dismissed him without a second thought. It didn't matter how well prepared or intelligent he was, the color of his skin was enough to bar him from opportunities. Yet, Bernard refused to give up. Each setback only fueled his determination to find a way around the barriers standing in his path. Fate intervened when Bernard met Joe Morris, a wealthy nightclub owner known for his charm, wit, and ability to navigate the complexities of the world. Joe was everything Bernard wasn't: outgoing, street smart, and deeply connected to influential circles. At first, Joe was skeptical of Bernard's vision. He saw Bernard as an idealist, someone whose dreams, while admirable, were unlikely to succeed in the face of such overwhelming opposition. But Bernard's persistence and detailed plans eventually won Joe over. He realized that Bernard wasn't just a dreamer, he was a strategist with a plan to defy the odds. The two men formed an unlikely partnership, combining Bernard's meticulous planning with Joe's business savvy and social connections. Together, they began to devise a strategy to break into the real estate market. However, they quickly realized that no matter how brilliant their ideas were, their skin color remained an insurmountable obstacle. This led them to conceive a daring and unconventional plan. They would recruit a white man to serve as the public face of their operation. Enter Matt Steiner, a young, inexperienced man with little knowledge of real estate. Bernard and Joe saw potential in Matt, not for his expertise, but for his ability to navigate spaces that were closed to them simply because of his race. Matt would attend meetings, negotiate deals, and pose as the owner of their business, while Bernard and Joe worked behind the scenes. To prepare him for this role, Bernard and Joe gave Matt an intensive crash course in real estate. They taught him everything from property valuation to financial negotiations, transforming him into a convincing and capable frontman. Their gamble paid off. With Matt as their public face, the trio began acquiring properties across Los Angeles. They targeted neighborhoods that were previously segregated, purchasing buildings and renting them to black families. This wasn't just a business venture, it was a quiet revolution. Bernard and Joe were dismantling barriers, one property at a time, and giving black families access to homes in areas they had been excluded from for generations. As their success grew, Bernard and Joe became major players in the Los Angeles real estate market. They didn't just make money, they made a statement. Their actions sent ripples through the city, challenging the status quo and forcing people to confront their own biases. But for Bernard, this was only the beginning. Despite their accomplishments in Los Angeles, Bernard couldn't ignore the struggles of black residents in his hometown of Willis, Texas. There, systemic racism was even more entrenched. Black families were routinely denied loans, making it nearly impossible for them to buy homes or start businesses. Bernard dreamed of changing this by taking control of the local bank and using it to provide opportunities for the black community. Joe, ever the pragmatist, was hesitant. He knew the risks of moving their operation to the deeply racist South, where the stakes were even higher. But Bernard's passion and unwavering commitment to his vision eventually convinced him. Together, they decided to take their fight to Texas. Once again, Matt became the face of their operation. He purchased the bank on behalf of Bernard and Joe, masking their involvement. At first, their plan seemed to work. The bank began issuing loans to black residents, providing them with opportunities that had been denied for decades. However, their actions didn't go unnoticed. The local townspeople grew suspicious of Matt's sudden interest in the bank, and a racist bank executive began digging into their activities. The executive discovered that the bank was giving loans to black families, a practice that was virtually unheard of at the time. Furious, he began investigating further and uncovered Bernard and Joe's involvement. The discovery put the trio under immense pressure. To complicate matters, Matt, despite his lack of experience, convinced Bernard and Joe to let him purchase a second bank. This move proved disastrous, as Matt's inexperience led to numerous regulatory infractions. Federal investigators soon took notice, and the situation spiraled out of control. All three men were arrested for violating federal banking laws. Facing a potential 50-year prison sentence, Matt was offered a plea deal. Under immense pressure, he agreed to testify against Bernard and Joe, falsely claiming that they had deceived him into participating in illegal activities. His betrayal was a devastating blow to Bernard and Joe, who now faced an uphill battle to defend themselves in court. Despite the odds, Bernard refused to back down. In court, he delivered a powerful and emotional testimony, arguing that his actions were not about personal gain, but about justice. He spoke passionately about the importance of giving black families the same opportunities for upward mobility that white families had long enjoyed. His words resonated deeply, but they weren't enough to sway the court. Bernard and Joe were convicted and sentenced to prison. After serving their time, Bernard and Joe were released. Though their dreams of revolutionizing the banking system had been derailed, they found solace in an unexpected act of loyalty from Matt. Before his sentencing, Bernard had entrusted Matt with money to secure a future for him and his family. True to his word, Matt used the funds to purchase 2 homes in the Bahamas for Bernard, Joe, and Bernard's wife, Eunice. Reunited in exile, the three reflected on their journey, a story of ambition, defiance, and the cost of challenging an unjust system. Though their efforts were met with resistance, their legacy endured as a testament to the power of courage and collaboration. Bernard's vision may have been temporarily halted, but his story continues to inspire generations to fight for a better, more equitable world.
If you enjoyed this video, please do well to like, subscribe, and comment on what movies you want us to review for you. Also, turn on the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of our videos. Thanks, and see you in the next video.